Hey everyone, I'm back. It's your pal Drew Dracy, and got some more Fantastic Four coming along the way. I saw the final trailer yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's stuff to nitpick, like why did they change this and that, but I mean, you finally get a convincing thing, and you finally get a convincing Galactus, and that's half the battle for me. And the Fantastic Car is just amazing. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great. I plan to hear some clobbering time and a little bit of every this, a little bit of that. So let's get the Fantastic Four Chronicles. This is a Fantaco publication, which I think is an imprint from Fantagraphics. Let me see. No? Fantaca. Okay. There's like 5 volumes of these Chronicles. They have the Daredevil Chronicles, which had a Frank Miller cover, a Spider-Man, which had a John Byrne, and X-Men with a Cockrum cover, and I'll show those eventually. But this was like a fanzine that you got at the only at the comic shops, not at the drugstores. And here's the same cover, sans trade dress, and it's beautiful. I wonder how Byrne, what he used. If he used markers, or if he used, it almost looks like he used magic markers, because I know George Perez was messing around with that too on some of his covers. But this was so fun, because bear with me, younger people, there was no internet, so this was our connection to what was going on. Beautiful Dave Simons, Gray Wash, Silver Surfer, shooting the Tube Fantastic instead of skipping the Light Fantastic. And it was here. This Perez did this piece exclusively for this, and it got reprinted, I think, in one of the Marvel Masterworks later on. But yeah, this is 1982, and he was exclusive with DC at the time, so this was really treated, it was a fanzine. It wasn't a competitive comic book sort of thing. So the rules were a little looser when it came to that. But it's great as it introduces you to all the characters. It's just a great, first book you show somebody if they're really into the Fantastic Four and they want to know all this stuff of the history. I mean, it's text heavy, but you're getting your money's worth. Dave Simons doing a beautiful image of Power Man there. Dave Simons did a lot of this fan stuff, and I just love it. Love it. This is Dan Lawless, I guess, and Bill Anderson. Fred Hembeck. Man, oh man. When he came on the scene in like 77 or 78, and I was right on board, because I went to Connolly's Motor Inn, which was in Monroeville. It was in the basement. Comic conventions used to be in these stale basements, musty, and it was great. I mean, it was great. It was like it was a man cave, and I loved it. But he came up with several Hembeck books, and he also did other stuff for Marvel Age, and just those squiggly knees and elbows. I mean, he made a living off of it. Question and answer with Jack Kirby. Now, bear in mind, this is while he's still contentious with Marvel. They're trying to get him to sign off his original art, all his rights, to get a fraction of his artwork back, and he finally won. But a lot of his artwork was stolen from like some warehouse that was unlocked, and it was nice of him to have this brief interview, because he was working with DC at the time on New Gods, and they gave him retroactive rights on the New Gods that he created in 1970. So I thought that was pretty cool. That I'm covering this because there's some publications that are like kind of naughty and saucy. So Byrne did this exclusively for this piece, and it got shown again, repurposed a few times. And you just see the sheer love that Byrne has for the Fantastic Four with all these characters, and how this. I mean, I'd love to have a poster of this, except I don't have any room on my walls. I already got so much stuff. This man, this monster. So, and Splatter movies. There's a film book. Yeah, back then you could get like reel-to-reel stuff sometimes. Yep. I talked to Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, who'd been on the book a couple times before. Oh, here's what I was telling you about. See, the X-Men Chronicles, they're dirt cheap. You can find them almost anywhere. I found them in the wild, actually, for like, what, $2-3. And John Byrne goes on his journey with the FF. Here's a little, it's a cute little cartoon in the back. So, it's really, really great. I love this. I mean, it just gave me such a charge. So, now we're going to my first regular Fantastic Four book. I had my first 2 Fantastic Four stories were in Marvel's Greatest Comics. It was around when by Ben Betrayed, when he got possessed by the Mad Thinker to turn on the other Fantastic Four members, and that's great stuff. So this is the first then modern, like this had come out, it says December of '74, but that meant September of '74. This cover is kind of a crazy quilt here. You got the Gil Kane layout, undeniably Gil Kane. Then you got like a John Romita makeover here, and that looks like Rich Buckler. So I don't know how many hands were involved with it, but it was just bizarre. So you got Rich Buckler and Sinnott, and Tony Isabella is finishing up the story from Jerry Conway. It's a place where Thunder comes from, and where how can I put it? Well, they have the Femizons. They're kind of like Paradise Island with Wonder Woman. And there's this other guy who is Machismo, who's like this big hairy guy, and he wants to subjugate, all females and stuff like that. And the funny thing was, years later, he showed up in She-Hulk, John Byrne's She-Hulk, and he was like, oh, I want to destroy all women. And then she like whispers the birds and the bees in his ear, and then he's like, oh. It's like, oh, like there won't be anybody around. Oh, by the way, this was a trope at the time for about a year where FF would end up in some kind of elaborate cage, and then they would figure a way out of it, and that was kind of fun. The Ghost Rider, Powerless. You'll see it all in the latest issue. I used to draw my own comics. I did that kind of shit all the time, and I copied some of these stories. Well, my comics were a lot smaller, like half that size. It was lined paper from school. I wasn't doing much good in school, so at least I'm making... there we go. There's Machismo. Such a goofy character, but I love him. I love him. So, and you'll see a lot of Kirby swipes. And let me introduce you to some of them. Oh, what's funny, it says Menace the Molecule Man. That's not what's reprinted in the back. It's the Mad Thinker. And, I'll show that later. This is from Avengers, which has Ramatut, Kang, and by Dave Cockrum, but in the front there is Prisoners of the Pharaoh, Ramatut. To some of the swipage. And Buckler was doing a lot of it this time. But in all fairness, Buckler could also draw. I mean, that's the same kind of pose. But, you see, I mean, the hand maybe, but like look how the head's turned and such. And you'll see other stuff like that too. Oh, there's this ray gun that makes them weak in the knees. And there you go. I'll bring it a little closer to you. But you guys see, I mean, he still has knowledge of the anatomy, so it's not like wholesale swipes where he's doing line for line. He's just using Kirby's storytelling to, or kind of, I don't know how to put it. I guess he's keeping the book on model. This is an old ratty book, so I can fold this. So, and there we have Tundra. Invisible Woman. But yeah, it's just suggested there, like the placement of the hands and the bodies. But anyway, the one thing that really interested me was that there's a lot more swipes, but it's first time I'd seen him. I just, I still don't have a problem with him in this case because he's not taking the exact lines. He's doing the staging. There are some other issues where he does the exact same lines, like when Namor shows up in 147. Did he really have to make a Marvel value stamp of the Plunderer? Ugh, horrible character. That's Kazar's brother. So this is tremendous fun. An interesting thing was Medusa was filling in for Invisible Woman because Reed and Sue had gotten separated, and also Johnny had his costume changed to resemble the original Human Torch. Now the reason I'm going to Fantastic Four here, like I said, it's funny. It says Molecule Man, but that's not so reprinted in the back. Okay. Hang in there, everybody. Oh, that's so beautiful. This is such a great, unapologetic, all action, extra large story, and man, it's beautiful. Frank Giacoya on the inks because Sinnott was doing the regular. What a great design Psycho Man is. Oh my gosh. I mean, Kirby just he just came up with stuff out of his noggin. So let's get to fighting. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, sorry about this, folks. I'm just slipping about. Okay. And there's a charge. Not a big deal. And the monster is very similar, but there are tweaks to it. And, what's funny though, this book came out, and like 6 months later, this book came out, and right away I recognized the same poses. Here we go. See the flying critter. And so it ends up with the two worlds, one run by women, one by men, start to congeal, and I was going to say Tigra, Thundra, she thanks Ben with peck on the cheek, and he's like, where's the shit? He's like, not in front of the guys. So I'm going to jump back. This is so beautiful. The original cover had a yellow background. I love this red background. That's Psycho Man. I actually have a toy. They came out in the 2000s. They have like a little action figure of Psycho Man, and I had to have it because it just, who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? That's what's amazing about how Kirby made Marvel such a bombastic, irresistible force in the comic industry that was coming out. There was a little runt, and then you came up like 2 years into the Fantastic Four. You had to think about the Hulk and the Avengers, and it was inked like shit, but nobody cared because it had the sheer Kirby power and enthusiasm, and you had Stan's jazzy dialogue in there. So, and oddly enough, coincidentally enough, this is the one where Sue and Reed announced that she's pregnant, just in time for the movie. If you're a freelancer, you go through these emotions pretty much every hour when you're working a deadline. You have fear, you have doubt, you have hate. And maybe you'll have, you'll have yummy, because that'll be like when you eat in between self-loathing. So, I love that, man. Ain't nothing gonna break a my stride. So, man. And what's great about the upcoming movie is they finally got, that's the baddest Black Panther. I don't even know how they're associated with the Inhumans and all, but it doesn't matter. It's so cool. But in the movie, I mean, they're finally able to make the Thing's face look like the Thing. and as well as his hands. So, although this showed him with a beard, the thing with a beard in like one of the scenes, and I don't know what's going on with that, but you know, I think it's going to refresh my enthusiasm for Marvel movies. So call me a hopeless optimistic. Wow, that is insane. Just man, and he's never used an eraser in his life. That's what's astonishing. He just keeps moving on and on. So let me get to the awesome Android, big old Muddy Inks by Dick Ayers. I love. It's just so. Like I said, he's still not fully evolved yet. He's just kind of a pile of baby poop. Classic panel here. The thing is this, sissy. Send me a picture like this, will they? Want to get rid of those crummy Yancey street gang? I'll take a blotter to mop them up. And Sue leaves with curlers in her hair. I like how his reaction to a doodle and having stuff thrown. He picks up a friggin' tractor. He's gonna throw a tractor at him. It's like, hey, it's a little much, Ben. Oh, this one too. This one here looks kind of like a chicken. He's like, bark, bark. Ben was still like this evolving thing. First, he started off really, really lumpy in the early issues that were inked, I believe, by maybe George Klein, they were saying. And they didn't have a definition of him yet. And then here he's lumpy. And it wasn't until, I think, Chick Stone started making it more of a rocky texture instead of a loose, bit of rubble. Okay. Oh man. Whoa! Reminds me of what they did in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with their faces tweaked out when they were going to another dimension. The awesome android, so cool. There was a 2 short-lived series of She-Hulks that came out in like the mid-2000s, or that was written by Dan Slott, and one Babio did the art, and one Paul Pelletier did the other, and She-Hulk was working as an attorney in an office, and the awesome android was like an intern. They called him Awesome Andy all the time, and he was like this real mellow, like a big kid. So speaking of Fred Hembeck, the Fred Hembeck roast. Man, oh man, I love that. Wow. What a beautiful, and also, this is a snapshot of when I really, really liked the characters. I thought they were really cool. That was like, for me, a peak of Marvel was like the early half of the 80s. And you have all kinds of different artists doing work over his layouts. Fred Hembeck's layouts. That's by their usual team. You have John Byrne, and this one is a bunch of people, but it's Michael Golden. The Hulk looks like he was born to wear that tuxedo, doesn't he? Michael Golden was recent obsession since that Avengers Annual he did. Ron Wilson, Ramita Jr., or Ramita actually. So more Byrne stuff. Milgram. Joe Sinnott, yeah. And Mike Zeck and John Beatty. Wow. And you have John Romita Jr. and Bob Layton. What's his name? Alan Weiss. And you have Sal Buscema. This, I think, is Marshall Rogers and Terry Austin. And the classic Kerry Gamble era of Power Rangers Iron Fist, which I love. Boy, oh boy, that was great. And this is Bob Hall with the Avengers, and it's more writing than art. Keith Pollard and Chick Stone was doing Thor at the time. Okay, now we got Joe Sinnott, Frank Miller. He's playing with all those light sources. He's got the light bulb, flashlight on, just showing off what he and Klaus Janson did. I wonder if Klaus inked this also. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Andy Anderson. Oh, there's Marshall Rogers. and Terry Austin. Mike Anderson, Don Perlin. Ghost Rider has a nice tuxedo jacket on. This was, it's Gene Day. I could tell by the faces and the eyes, and that he uses bold lines. I don't know who did this, but I love it. Dr. Doom, John Buscema, Joe Sennett. And he blames his explosion on not being invited to going to a panty raid. Panty raid. If I had been on the panty raid before, the Dr. Doom you see before you would not exist. I would have been a fun guy. As it is, everyone seems to think I'm a drag. Whew. I think I'll be doing everyone a favor if I had this party now. That Dr. Doom is such a drag. I wonder who owns this two-page spread. Sal Buscema, Frank Miller, Don Perlin, Bob Layton, John Romita Jr., Kerry Gamble, Mike Zeck, John Byrne, Bob Hall, Mike Vosberg. Let me see now. Terry Austin, Keith Pollard, Bill Sienkiewicz, Dave Cockrum. Yeah, that's just amazing. So they're going to look to find out who the party pooper is. And it's Willie Lumpkin. And we got some more wonderful Michael Golden work. Bill Sienkiewicz. This is a real treat. And a lot of jokes are pretty hilarious. And the other ones are just real, like, groaners, Michael can't take it anymore. He just finally breaks down and laughs. So, but the Hembeck book, you get a lot of good stuff. You get a lot of to read, and his stuff is very insightful as a fan. And like Hellcat about to drink Ant-Man there. Now we take you to the Fantastic Four 100th anniversary issue, which I first knew about this in 1976, after the 1975 Marvel value stamp success, where you cut value stamps out of the letters pages of your comic and collect them, which some people don't, some people did. I did. I didn't know any better. But later on, when I buy older books, sometimes I'll be tricked into seeing a Marvel value stamp is missing. And sometimes, a lot of times they're intact too. What is my point? My point is, the second year they did this, instead of doing individual images cropped from panels, is that they said made puzzles out of them. Like this was a puzzle of 8 Marvel value stamps down the middle, and then you got 4 going across. And so this made you want to cut them out even more and make them, and put the pieces together, because they had one of this, the Thor cover to Tales of Asgard, the reprint book #1, and I just remember seeing this like, oh my god, I would love to see this, and it's probably worth $1 billion. But I mean, I got a reading copy, I don't know, for like what, $15 20 years ago or so. I don't care, but and it's interesting, but it's not great. You could tell, as I said before, you could tell this late in the game Kirby's foot was out the door, because he left with issue 102, and it was an incomplete issue that got repurposed, and there was another one with this Janice character that they dragged out in issue 108. So it's pretty simple. They had their Fantastic Car or whatever blown out from under them, and they land safely. And here's Kang. I don't remember if Kang ever fought, the FF. I mean, he showed up in FF Annual 3, but everybody did, because that was when everybody was trying to crash a wedding and breathe in suit. And then here's Dr. Doom. And it kind of gets spoiled how the Puppet Master and the Mad Thinker are working together to destroy the Fantastic Four. Later on, either later on or before, I can't remember when, they did team up against Submariner, I think, when John Buscema was doing the art. And who is that gray creature with the gray background? I mean, it pretty much gives it away, like right here, but for the uninitiated, you may not know what it is. I mean, and second of all, you don't see the whole face and everything. So that's pretty neat how he managed to, Like for Marvel fans like us, yeah, we saw right through it. So here comes the Sentry. Boing. And just some, like I said, the whole plot is just action, 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 and Kirby does it great. It's just not, but it's not much of a story, and that's okay. It's issue 100. Dragon Man, Submariner, little everybody. Come on in. The water's just right. Ah, here's something. This is telling you how bad things were going with comic sales. 15 cents from 12 cents. That's a substantial jump in price. I mean, that's, you know, what is it, a third? Yeah, something like that. It's like for kids who, you know, would save pennies for comics and all that. I know a guy who's maybe 10 years older than I am, and he says he quit comics when they turned to 15 cents, and it hurt. I mean, it hurt the comics. You know, the bills went up and everything, so they pretended to have 20 pages, but 2 of them would be half pages. So when it was reprinted, they would put these underneath. But in the meantime, you got the Stranko History of Comics. Really good read. I really recommend them, and they're pretty reasonable. So yeah, I love everybody. You got, you know, Hate Monger, you got Super Skrull, and they're all robots. There's the Red Ghost. Somehow he's a robot. I don't know how. How would you make robots that would duplicate those powers? It don't matter. It don't matter because it's just a big old send up. There's the Wizard. There is the miscolored Sandman. And finally, it's revealed that the Hulk was the most powerful android of all. And destroy the Fantastic Four. Look at his eyes. Hulk obey no man. You're Hulk's enemy. You'll be crushed. So that's pretty much it. It's very simplistic. It's very basic. But if you're going to do like if you promise all these villains in a single size issue, that's pretty much all you can do. You know, it would have been kind of interesting to see like a couple of them like charge at the same time. It's more like a one-on-one combat. Like, you know, everyone takes their turn. So, but that's okay because it's fun, and it's the world's greatest comic magazine. So, I hope you like this, and let me know what you think. If you like the Fred Hembeck roast, have you ever read it before? Did you start reading FF around this time when they had a different lineup with Medusa? Or talk about the Giant Size Comics. I've done an episode on those bad boys. And all the guest artists that worked on this as well. So let me know what you think. I'm not going to delete any comments. It's just not my thing. I just wanted to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And have a great time and read some comics. Bye.